Hello. I am back with another video. This time, I wanted to go and discuss some things that have been on my mind lately and have been weighing me down, and, yeah. It has something to do with my own perspective and my own beliefs, as usual. But, um, it's a little bit more on the personal side. Um, I saw some. Well, let's put it this way. I got hit with a lot of news online that kind of, I don't know why, but it's a lot more negative than usual. I mean, I got used to it. I understand that, but it was intense. And then I also got, I had to go and deal with some, um, I had, something got me to think about something I personally went through. And then it started to get to me a lot. Like, I don't think existential crisis is proper. I think it's less than that. But it freaked me out, and it really increased my anxiety. So it was suggested to me by my partner to go and share that with the world, and that maybe I can make myself feel better and help other people feel better too, because they'll know that they're not alone in thinking or feeling that way. So I'm gonna hopefully help others feel like they're not by themselves with certain feelings and see how it goes. So I'm just gonna go and say that the way that I was brought up is kinda got me to be a bit far behind in life, just in general. Um, there's a lot of things that I struggle to know how to do. There's a lot of things that I uh, can handle very well, and and to be honest, there are goals in my life that I have because of what I went through. Um, like, for instance, I have a personal goal of where I would like to. I'd like to see. Well, it's not that I like to see, but I do see a lot of good in life, and that I feel that there's a lot more good in the world than there is bad, even when it's this hard and even when it's this scary. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't get to me, and it's that doesn't mean that my thoughts and my feelings and beliefs and my perspective always stay that way. They change, and I question myself a lot. And sometimes when I look at things online and I see stuff like that, it changes my perspective a lot. And it makes me question myself, and it makes me wonder if I am in the wrong. If I am the one who's either in denial about reality or other things. Now, a lot of my beliefs and a lot of the things that I've found out are just from living and understanding that um there's more than one correct perspective, so to speak, and there's more than one uh um uh it's hard to actually say that it's a correct opinion, but there's more than one correct opinion, so to speak, and there's more than one person that can be right. Like, there's more than one party at times that can be right. Um, so I know that I'm just having a rough day. But I also know that I go through this a lot. And I don't want it to get to me so much where I question and I lose who I am. And things are getting pretty hard for me. I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. And I'm not looking for that kind of attention, but I'm just trying to be honest because that's what I wanted for my channel to be, about me being honest and in stating how I feel and just wanting to discuss and talk. And well, yeah, so here we are. um but um I think I should start off by making it really simple because I don't want to get too specific. I think that the world is, I think that it's a part of when I was talking earlier in some of my other videos about the idea that as animals, we see things negatively. We see things negatively so that we can survive. We look for all the bad. We look for all the threats. We look for all the potential threats and all of the, and every last bit of whatever can ruin our happiness or our safety or anything in general that we care about. And the problem is that even though we have been able to move up to the top of the food chain, we've made our own habitats. We've basically made a world that not necessarily, I won't say revolves around us, so to speak, but a world that we, that I think that maybe we go a little bit too far into, maybe in some ways that aren't always the healthiest. I think that now we don't need those ways to survive as much anymore. We still need them, but they don't need to be everywhere, and I think that they still are. And I feel like all that negativity getting is starting to not just get to people, but I think that all that negativity is kind of starting to be seen just about everywhere. I think positivity gets things further a lot more than negativity. Just looking at people and how they think about things. Like, for instance, healthy thoughts are, what is it that you can do, and not what is it that you can't do. So take something as big as the idea of climate change or something like that. Um, if we say all the things that, or how close we are to an end, it can make people feel like, why should we continue trying? Or if it's just going to be over, or if it's that bad, there's no way that we'll ever be able to get there, kind of thing. But that is negativity. Positivity is, okay, well, what is it that we can do? And not just what is it that we can do, but it's more so a bit more like how to make it easier, so to speak, if that makes sense. How to easily change things. How to find an understanding and a comfort while doing it. And understanding that, and not being scared, but just seeing the positives. You know, that no matter what, doing something better is better than not doing anything at all. You know, stuff like that. We do that there. And, well, we should, but what about other stuff? What about just in general in life, how we personally live our lives. Just not, but I'll lose this or something like that they were worried about. It's more about, I'll gain this and I can do more doing this than I can with this. Positives are very important. And I feel like life could get better if we decided to look at that and help us. Because I can promise you that, at least from a personal perspective, I don't want to do anything when I feel like I can't. I don't want to do anything when I feel like it's not going to amount to anything. I don't want to do anything when I know that it's just going to get messed up again. It's also why I don't like washing dishes. It's why I don't like doing certain things. It's why I get exhausted sometimes. But that was when I was younger and I was just like, oh, I don't want to go and do that. Oh, why do I have to do that right now? Or, all these other things. Oh, I'm already going through so much. Now it's the idea that, well, when this gets done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's, well, when I finally do this thing, not only will I have more time to do these other things that I want, but on top of that, everybody else feels better too. And it just, positives, I think, are a lot better than just negatives. And it seems like negatives are everywhere. And it's starting to get to me because I'm seeing it everywhere, and for some reason, the more that I see it, the more that I believe it. And yeah. I don't want to go too deep into anything because if I'm being honest, I don't really think that the world is out to go and get anyone. And I think that the world is just being the world. Life is just life, and nature is just nature. And that everything kind of just works around with and sometimes against each other because that's just the way things are. I think it gives meaning and reason and things to life and purpose. So, like, you know. But I do think that positivity should be more of a focus than the negatives about something. And I do believe that we all have something in common. We all have a lot more in common than we do things different. Even if we can be defined as something different from each other sometimes because of either a belief or anything else, I think that there are a lot more in common just by saying that we're human than there is anything else. So, yeah. I don't know how to talk about this without going and getting too personal or getting too political, and I don't like it. I try to stay out of that because it feels like it is a never-ending cycle of something, and that it is just, I don't know. I don't like to talk about that too much. Anyway, I feel like I've gotten a lot of what I needed to out. But I think I'll go and try to make something a bit more, say something a bit more inspiring and move towards that. Which is that, on a good note, I do believe that everyone matters and everything matters, if that makes sense. I think everything has its place, and everything has a purpose, and everything has an effect. And I think that even the tiniest little thing that you notice every day, or it's something that makes you smile, or something that is just in general, that goes and has that small moment for you that gives you any feeling of even just motivated to just do one tiny thing. I think that every last one of those things is a lot bigger than something we can call small. And I believe that every little thing out there, every feeling and every thought, every moment matters, even if it doesn't look like it does. From just the tiniest little opinion to even when you have a big opinion, but you don't want for it to affect anyone negatively, or you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing, or anything like that. Everything matters, in my opinion. And I think that that is a good thing to understand, because I think that it makes everybody understand that they're all meaningful. Every person out there. And I do mean just about every person out there. Like, it does not matter, like, what your job is, so to speak, or income, or anything. I think that every action and every thought and every feeling and every intent and everything that we do and everything that happens besides us all matter. And not to say that it's this big thing where, um, you know, that just because I go and I pet my cat, and that for some reason me petting my cat has an effect on everyone else who pets their cats. No, not necessarily. It's not like it's a super big thing. I think that just everything is important, and everything has its place, and nothing should be thought of as it means nothing. I mean, I look past things, I look beyond stuff, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything at all. Like, so there's that. And I think that everybody has their place. Everybody is important and meaningful, and yeah, everyone's special in a good way. Um, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like there are people out there that don't feel like they're special, but they are. Everyone is. Everyone has an impact on everyone else. Um, everyone, and I think that living and life is, to some degree, supposed to be enjoyed. It's supposed to be able to be fun. Um, Even in the smallest moments, there has to be something. Well, not has to be, but there is something that is worth it. And it can be anything from a nice breeze to just that one teeny moment of, even if you were able to go and think that you cooked something better than you did last time. Or that you just didn't do anything else that was negative this time. Or even when you do something negative, you know that tomorrow will be better anyway, or it's a new day and there's a new chance. Everything is important. And everything that we do is important. I feel like this video is me ranting. I don't know. I hope that I'm cheering somebody up. Anyway. But yeah. I don't really want to end the video yet because I feel like this video doesn't have very many good points in it yet or good things to have talked about, so um eh, how about I go ahead and do something else? Like I'll I can go and talk about other beliefs that I have, like um the fact that when you put your energy into things, I think that uh the more good energy or good intent you put into things, usually the better things become. And so there's that. Um, I also believe that life is not meant to go and be taken too seriously, because I feel like if you take life too seriously, that uh, I feel like that is almost crazier than if you were crazy. Because yeah, I don't I don't like some people say, or like I've heard before, that we're here for, usually people are here for a good time and not a long time. I do think a long time's important, but I do think that that good time thing is actually important too. And in the long, and speaking of in the long term, I think that good is really important. So taking things too seriously is, it doesn't quite feel worth it to me. And that's often something that I worry about if I'm just being too immature, because I just want to be happy, and I just want to go and find a way to do the things that I like and love, and just enjoy the things that are my favorite. In this case, which would be werewolves, and the idea of lycanthropy, and animals, and nature, and finding ways, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it other than being able to play. Sounds crazy to say it that way, because I realize that I'm older. Not like super older, but I'm definitely an adult. And it feels crazy to use that word. But I don't know what other word to use. And I'm also well aware that there is some part of my brain that is just not happy with the fact that I didn't get to do that as a kid very much. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Um, I feel like my brain is kind of putting everything together again, and I'm starting to get better. I can start feeling that I understand a little bit more about the purpose that I gave myself, which was that, you know, what I was saying of just wanting to go and do the things that I love and the things that I like, to enjoy things and to hopefully spread positivity everywhere. And yeah, I want to understand everything. Just be able to create understanding, I guess. Because you can't figure, I don't think people can figure out what's right or what's wrong or what's good or bad too much. At least not in the best way, in the clearest way, without um, without the ability to um, be understanding. I don't think understanding means that you have to agree with it all the time, and I don't think that it means that you have to support it. I think that understanding means that you actually can see as much about it and see the reason behind it, or the purpose it has, or the cause of it, all of these things. And there's different kinds of understandings too. But I think that, yeah, that growing up, I always tried to understand everything. I didn't have anything else better to do. And I was told so many negative things growing up that I wanted to understand why it was so bad. And that's how I figured out that it's not that bad. And that there's way more good than there is bad. Because I saw or heard or was taught a lot of bad. The world was out to get you, that um, there's not much out there in the world other than just, um, just a lot of the negatives that you can think of that people usually have. Not people usually like, oh, the whole world has, or just humans in general have. No. Just the things that humans can have. And that was mostly everything that's in the world. And I struggle to believe it. It's why I talked the way that I did about entertainment earlier. It's because when I didn't have people, I looked at the TV and I looked at movies. And I questioned and I said, why is it so bad? How is it so bad? How is it like that? When all these people look like they're happy. I even knew that they were acting. But how is it that they look sometimes so happy? How is it that they can have such personality and not look like they're just talking? Or that they're... How does it not look hollow if they're not using any personal experiences or personal feelings? How is it all just that? And how can people even make movies and TV shows and show it and depict it as something so happy and so peaceful and so nice or fun, or that there's always this good that can be even from the worst? And how can all those things be described and shown and even look believable if the world out there is so messed up and that's all that people are? And I never said it to that degree or thought of it to that degree, but it was all in my head that way. Those things were connected. And it's exactly why like I was saying, have role models, and why that I'm so thankful for those things, and why I feel the way I do about entertainment is because the world is huge. And not only is the world huge, but I think that the world is so much bigger than what anyone can possibly imagine. And it's big, not in the way of the size of the earth, not in the way of even the size of the universe. No, it's big as far as how many different combinations and individuals and worlds within worlds exist. And not just like I'm talking about stories, no. I mean just in general. There are so many different lifestyles and choices and people and feelings and emotions and thoughts, and the ways that they all combine together and the different outcomes, and that is strewn across the entire world, everywhere. And it's one of those things that I find to be, even though we all know about the bad, I find it beautiful because of the fact that we can't imagine it all. And it keeps being surprising. it keeps up more and more new things over and over again. And once you learn about the other things that are out there in the world, you forget about some of the other things that were already there that you already knew about. And then you revisit that. The world is so huge. And I feel like entertainment shares just how different and how big the world is. Even when it's fantasy based, I feel like, well, like my mom told me that life imitates art and art imitates life. They're reflections of each other, and fantasy and fiction is just the fun or altered or the fun. It's real stuff that was just exaggerated in one way or another. You know, it's dreams and what we want and what we desire, and mixed with just expressing ideas just to a bigger degree, to a more, though unreal degree, to a more exaggerated degree, and in ways that we can understand it in its own way. And it's why I connect even with fantasy things. It's even why I connect with the idea of werewolves and lycanthropy, because there are parts of it that I completely understand that are fantasy, but there are other parts that aren't so much. And even though, I have some hope and some faith that some of that fantasy might be out there in some special way where it's so close to being real, but it's just not in the same way. Like, there are things that I hope would be, or that I'm wondering, or that I'm not willing to just say, nope, nothing. So, there's that. But most of it's based on just an understanding of the. Most of it is based more on actual things. And there's just extra stuff that's a part of it, both spiritual and otherwise. But I feel like entertainment, the actors and actresses and the musicians, even with music, and all these things paint pictures and create worlds, but not just create worlds like new ones. Express worlds that are already there, even if there's some fantasy around it. Just showing a different perspective every time and sharing it with the world. And that was something that helped me to feel connected to the outside world. And it's why I'm so grateful for that. And it's why even now there are there are actresses and actors and celebrities and things that I actually like and that I pay attention to, and even now sometimes I'm inspired by and look up to. You know? And I feel kind of this sense, I feel this kind of sense of company from it, because even though I will never know them, and I will never actually be able to, excuse my language, be friends or anything else like that with them. And don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily that I want to, per se, but I do feel like we're all just humans doing something. And the stuff that I can see that looks like it's from that actual person, that looks like it's the actual person and their actual feelings, and not a performance, that thing. I feel like I can tell and I can feel that. And I feel like I can relate to it, and it helps for me to go and be able to do things myself and feel less by myself. I feel like that's the whole reason why YouTube is a thing. I feel that's the whole reason why everybody likes going and watching videos. Because we can connect with people and we can go and feel like we can go and feel not so alone and not so on our own. Even when it's hard to feel that way, or even when it feels like the world that we want to be a part of isn't around us or isn't there. Um, yeah. Um, I do one day want to go and say, like, artists that I actually really liked and like. But it feels weird. Just like how it feels weird for me to go and want to, you know, ugh. I had a hard time being able to go and try to um, share how much I care about, well, if I'm being honest, one of my favorite bands. I'm too self-conscious to be able to share how I feel about them. And um, I went actually managed to go and see one of their shows, and it was absolutely amazing. It was one of my first concerts ever. And yeah, it was one of my first concerts, full actual concerts ever, and I saw it was so amazing, and I'm so thankful that I got to see it. And I made some fan art, um, and even though I am perfectly okay with if I can't be seen or noticed by them, because again, people who are popular and have lots of people paying attention to them, it is impossible to pay attention and see every single person, every single thought, every single word, every single thing that they do for every single person all the time. They are literally just people. So, and I'm fully okay with that. The only thing that I don't like is that I wasn't able to do the same thing that other people can do, which is like, you know, actually like get the attention of the band or of a person. Like online, obviously. Don't go overboard with it, but you know, that sort of thing. And I couldn't even do that because I was too afraid and I was too self-conscious about it. I want to be able to do it because not because hey, look at me, but it's more so because I would like for those particular individuals to one day hopefully know just how much of an impact that they've had on someone and just how much what they did means, because I feel like not that would make those people happy, but it would also help for people to know that they do have a purpose and that it's working. Because I like that feeling too, and I want to give that to others. So yeah, um, but yeah, entertainment, very, very meaningful to me. And I kind of miss the way that it was, and there could be so much more going on right now. But it's not. At least it doesn't feel like it to me, so. Yeah. Um, I think that that's all that I'm gonna go and say for now. I covered a lot already. Yeah. Alright. Bye.